This is my new MacBook Pro 2020, and this is my old MacBook Pro 2018 model. And I've had this for about 2 odd years, and today we're going to compare the two. And this is not a fast review. If you're expecting a very fast overtake, sorry, that's not going to happen. I'm making this review for those people who, like me, are confused about whether they should upgrade from a 2-year-old MacBook, 2 or 3-year-old MacBook, to the latest edition. So let's get into it. Let me turn the brightnesses up and start my spiel. I'm going to be talking about changes which have happened. Let's talk about physical changes. In terms of size and heft, they both are the same. There's not any difference in terms of the weight. This is as heavy as that. They both come with the touch bar. And since I've been using a touch bar for almost 4 years now, I've gotten kind of used to it. Nonetheless, this is one feature by Apple which gets a lot of heat. So I like the touch bar. The new touch bar is pretty much the same, but it seems like they've raised the level of this touch bar. So earlier it was more flat and in line with the surface, but because they actually have a physical on and off button, which is also your Touch ID, it feels like the entire surface has been raised over here. These are very small changes. Now let's talk about the display. The display on the MacBook Pro 2018 was good, but at times I felt that it lacks a bit of brightness and clarity, especially because I've been using it for 2-3 years now. Now let's talk about the display on the MacBook Pro 2020. Have they improved it? Yes. Will you be able to tell the difference? Yes. When I look at this now, it seems almost subdued. What is the difference like? Let's say this is an iPhone 6 and this is an iPhone 7. Or let me give you a better example. This is approximately 15 to 20%. They have improved the brightness, the color gamut, the GPU, and it makes a noticeable difference. For example, look at how the numbers application looks here, and look at how the numbers looks here. So I'm sure you're able to tell even in this video that there is a difference. Look at how the font of the Untitled folder is there, okay? And now look at it here. There's just a crispness to the new display, and this is a welcome change for me. I was not expecting it, because when I had the 2016 model and when I upgraded to the 2018 model, I didn't see any difference. The second difference which I have noticed is that, let's talk about the sound now. I'm going to see if I can play a song. Okay. in my tests, the old one is sounding better. I'm kind of surprised, really. Okay guys, the next test is for the audio, the comparison. I have to say that the 2018 is louder and more room filling than the new one. And I'm surprised by this. I didn't know it. I didn't notice it because this guy was not around. And because the screen quality was better, I just assumed the audio is also sounding better. But that's not the case. They've done something here with the audio in the newer models. They've created a space, Apple has, So what that does is that on the newer models, there's a stereo effect which happens. Whereas on this, it's a more punchy, complete sound. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm going to miss that guy when I don't have it. I'm absolutely okay with this new sounding speaker. It's very melodious. Apple does this the best. You will never need a Bluetooth speaker. I'm a good person to talk about audio with because I have about 6 speakers, all right? And I never feel like attaching any speakers for YouTube video playback or for music when I'm listening to it on this guy. Unless I have a party, of course, in that case, I need a speaker. But even for most occasions, for 80% of occasions, whether you're running Spotify or you're running, Apple Music, I use both things. I think the audio is fantastic on both, but I am definitely noticing that the older one is much louder, like it's 15% louder and thicker and sounds better. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I have noticed this. And I always go by my own verdict, I'm that kind of guy. So let's move on. Let's talk about the keyboard next. Now, personally, let's talk about the keyboard. This is the old keyboard and this is the new guy. I'm liking the new guy. I'm liking the old, familiar, mushy feel like you used to have in the 2015 model and so on. It does make more sound or seems to make more sound. Actually, no. This is the old one. It's equally loud in terms of typing. However, I personally kind of miss the butterfly keyboard, I won't lie. And the reason for that is I felt I could go a little faster on the butterfly keyboard than I can on this one. The extra travel of the keys somehow makes me a little slower on the new one. I am obviously, everyone is a touch typist, but I love typing long messages and emails and and I really find that I'm kind of missing the butterfly keyboard, but I get it. Another thing I don't like about the new one, besides the keyboard, is that if you see here carefully, you see how, because of how it is, this looks like, the 2012 model with that little light coming out from beneath. Like, ouch, that is so unseemly and not likable to my eye. Let me just lower the brightness to 0 so you can see it better. So you see that? That's kind of not acceptable, Apple. You should do something to figure out how how to get rid of those, because it makes my 1 lakh rupee laptop cheapy. It looks cheapy. Whereas if I go on the older MacBook and I was to do the same, you see, there's a classless thing. This looks so classy, whereas this looks, for lack of a better word, a bit clunky. Did this break on me? Did this old keyboard break on me? Yes. The E button is kind of stuck. So let's say if I'm here and I'm trying to press the E, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's something wrong with the E, there's something wrong with some other buttons here. And it did go bad after 2 years. My option was to replace this for 10,000 plus rupees. I didn't do that. So in a way, I'm happy that I have this new keyboard. Overall, I'm okay with it. But yes, because I'm so used to typing on this for 3-4 years now, I miss it. I miss the sophistication of, if you take out a brand new, butterfly keyboard and you put it next to a brand new MacBook Pro 2020 regular keyboard, come on, let's be honest, guys, this blows it out of the water. So keyboard, I would say it's a bit of a hit or miss, and I'm happy they did it because eventually these keyboards break, and Apple, like Samsung, hurt their fans, I guess. Now let's talk about, next I would like to discuss battery life with you. For reference, this will also help those people who are looking to buy a 2018 model. As you can see, I have charged this 475 times and the battery life is at 81%. It says that on current usage basis, it will last 4 hours 13 minutes. I think that's a bit of a lie. With the newest Mac OS, which is called Big Sur, the battery life has gone down to 3 to 4 hours it's gone down by a good 90 minutes on the newest Mac OS upgrade. Now, with respect to the new guy, let me give you an example of how the battery works. Yesterday, I went to work without my adapter, and I used this from, let's say, 11 a.m. onwards till about 6:30 p.m. when I signed off. And then again, I used it at night for 3 hours. So you can say, give or take, there were 10 plus hours of screen time. I used torrents. I made 2 iMovies. I used Firefox. I used this. I did some camera work on it. I shot a couple of photographs here and there. Basically, I used it for 11 hours yesterday, and the battery went from 100 to It went from 100 to 64%. So 100 to 34%. I'm sorry, 100 to 34%. So at the end of the day, it was 34%. And the surprising thing is, the other day I was using it, and I saw like 1 hour or 30 minutes of Netflix at least, and it was at 99%. So that's kind of surprising. You see, it's sitting at 100% right now. Since we began this test, 20 minutes on and off, it's at 100%. It's probably going to stay at 100% for a while. I know Apple does that thing where they make the battery stay at 100% for a longer time. This goes down by the minute. This is at 67%, and probably gives me 3 or 4 hours. So battery is a major plus. In fact, if I was to talk about the feature I like the most, it is the battery. I love having not to plug this in. Another good thing is that this does not get warm. This gets really warm. If you, let's say if I ask some iMovie to do some process, it gets really warm, like a toaster. If you're sitting on the bed with this on your lap or on your stomach, you're not going to have a good time. You want to take a cushion and put it on top of that. With this guy, it's cool. It's not as cool as they say it is, mind you. We live in India, so we challenge every single norm, Apple. So the newer MacBook, it really doesn't heat up that much. But yeah, it's not really as cool as they say. Maybe you Canadian and American guys have it good, but we here in India, I've heard the fan once or twice in the week or 10 days that I've had it. Now, it says here 11 hours, 25 minutes on the present battery. And here it says 4 hours, 3 minutes. Now, of course, these are not correct. But I can assure you that on a single charge, the MacBook will give you at least 12 hours of screen on time, especially a new one. Have I ever gone below 30%? Nah, I just keep charging it. When it reaches 30%, I'll charge it to 100. So in a way, I use it like my iPhone, and I suggest to you guys also who get the new MacBook Pro 2020 or the MacBook Air 2020, you guys with the M1 processor, you need to make sure you don't let the battery go to a zero. You just plug it in, use it like an iPhone. You keep charging it. Because I figured if I have this MacBook for 2 years, I'd never own a MacBook for longer than 2 years. I feel like changing after that. So let's say if I own this for 2 years, I'll probably get about 400 battery cycles on it, because one battery cycle will probably last me 2 days. Right now I'm sitting at 5 battery cycles. I want to show that to you guys. So I have this other software here. In fact, I do have battery health. Let's see if it works. Excuse me just a moment. So battery monitor I have, which works on this. 5 cycles. It says 11 hours, 15 minutes remaining. The battery size is 5,171 mAh. And on this is 5,088 mAh. So the original maximum on the old one is less than 100 mAh smaller than the new guy. The honeymoon period for every Mac is the first 80 battery cycles. I think after the first 80 battery cycles, you really start to notice that the battery will probably drop down to 94%. Okay, so I'm taking this from my iPhone now. Right, so like I was saying, a few things annoy me. and that is battery life. And because the new guy has such good battery life, I feel that it's my favorite feature of the new MacBook Pro M1. And I like the fact that I don't have to worry about battery life. And I carry so many things to work that if I don't have to carry my 61-watt adapter, I'm a happy camper, you know. And I like that the battery goes on forever. I will not run this down for the longest time. I like how Apple has improved on this significantly. When this was new, it would probably last 6 hours on a single charge, maximum 6.5 hours. With every subsequent macOS updates, we know Apple does some bad techniques or some bad things they do, Apple does, where they keep reducing the battery life per operating system. So this time around, with my MacBook lasting just 3 or 4 hours, I feel Apple has kind of shortchanged me and made me want to get the new one. And this is not a good business practice. And I hope with the new upcoming macOS, I won't see a slug in the battery, because I want it to remain at the level it is. However, I'm pretty sure Apple is going to do the same exact thing. But anyways, I'll complain about that when we reach that bridge, you know. Let's talk about Big Sur. Both the operating systems run Big Sur, but I find that the speed on the new one is a lot faster. If I open anything, like let's say if I open Firefox on the new guy, you know, it's been 6 seconds, 7 seconds approximately. And look at this. On the new guy, it takes 3 seconds. So it's twice as fast. And I mean, speed is not really a deal maker for the new one. Yes, granted, this one both have 8 GB RAM, so I do get the messages about the memory running out. I've got it twice so far. But if I'm doing apps like iMovie, no matter what I throw at it, it accomplishes that in 5 minutes flat. On this guy, if I do the same project, it might take about 15-20 minutes, which is still okay. But this saves me a lot of time, and it doesn't heat up that much. So that's a major thing. So when I'm doing, let's say I'm converting a 4K file, which is a 5 or 10 minute video, the new MacBook would probably do it in 5 or 7 minutes maximum on the iMovie. And the older one would, on a 4K, would take maybe half an hour at times, you know, and it would heat up, and the battery would drop from, let's say, 60% to 40%. I'm not kidding. It would drop so much, 20%, 25% if I'm doing it on the battery, and I'm very brave, and I'm feeling very brave. With the new guy, I assure you it can perform a lot of good heavy tasks in a much faster time. Nonetheless, 8 GB is going to be a problem for somebody who wants a foolproof system. So if you want a foolproof system, I suggest you get the 16 GB model. But again, that costs about 20,000 rupees extra. Ouch. Guys, I have a suggestion for all of you who are who have a MacBook, are not looking to upgrade, are looking to upgrade. There's an amazing software called Clean My Mac X. This software has been a blessing. I had about 2 or 3 GB left on my old MacBook, and I ran this, and I'm not kidding you guys, it emptied 150 GB of data. Now that's a substantial sum on a 256 GB, because yeah, that's just what happened, you know. And I paid about 2,500 for the software, but it's worth it. This is not a plugin. This is just an advice from me to you. Let's talk about a feature which I really, really love, and that is the camera. Now, I know I'm not looking very handsome today, but nonetheless, let me show you how this looks. Let me show you how this looks. Again, my iPhone is doing this beautifying thing and trying to make this look better than it actually does, but it's a lot more grainy here. It's a lot more, you know, it looks like an iPhone 5, okay? Whereas this probably looks like an iPhone 7. It's a little difference, but it's a welcome difference, because Apple doesn't do anything, man. They really don't. And jack, complete jack. I just want to show you the photograph and how they come out. Okay, both are pretty bad because I'm the subject. Nonetheless, you can see the difference. This is the new guy and that's the old guy. Okay, it's not showing you the difference that much because that's the iPhone's fault. But it's a welcome addition, the new HD camera. It's all right, it's acceptable. I still would not use this to make videos, you know, because it's just not that good. But if you don't have a special camera or a great phone or a great camera, I suggest you probably use this. I don't use FaceTime on my computer. I'm not that important. Yep. So we've got display. Display is better. We've got audio. Audio on the old is better. Keyboard is a bit subjective, but they've done something with longevity in mind. One thing which I hate about Apple is how the screen will never look as clean as it does in the first few days. You see the screen right now? I'm just going to lower the the brightness. You see that? Okay, it looks a bit dirty because some hands and all that have reached it. Try not to touch your screen ever. Okay, now I'm going to show you the screen on the old guy. Okay, you see that? It looks like a mess. It looks like it's a demo unit, in some computer shop. Whereas this guy, being new, still has less scratches. I'm not a fool, so I know eventually this will look probably uglier than this because I'm going to use it so much. I'm not going to plug in any kind of a screen protector for you to get, but there are plenty of them available on Amazon. But I'm not a screen protector guy. I don't like putting a screen protector on my iPhone. I don't like putting it on the MacBook. It just looks a bit cheapy, man. Like, why would I spend so much on a machine and then put a screen protector on it, on a case on it? That's so corny. I hate it when people do that. And if you're one of those people, sorry, man. I hate it. I hate that you do that. Just in case you're wondering, this is India. Right.